So, for me, that flight was just like flying a beaver, but it was a beaver on electric steroids. I actually had to back off on the power. They said they wanted the shot of the aircraft lifting off right in front of the flying beaver, and so I actually had to throttle back to make sure that I could do that because it wanted to fly. And it was, with that tailwind and everything, it still was going to leap off the water. It was an amazingly great performance. We had no way of knowing really exactly how the aircraft was going to perform until we actually flew it, and that was the first real time it had flown. We did lift it off the water for about 200-300 feet yesterday, but there really wasn't any way to tell the flight performance, but it was amazing. I got out there and the visibility wasn't so great to the south, so it was just kind of a big circle and back in. This is a culmination of a tremendous amount of work in a very short period of time. Roy and I met about 11 months ago and decided to do this. And here we are, 11 months later. The team that put this together is a combination of the Harbour Air and Magniex team. And these guys have been working tirelessly for months to get this done. And I'm super proud of them. I'm totally amazed at what a sophisticated piece of equipment they put together here. This thing is a prototype for sure, but it's an amazing airplane. And in every way, it's a high-tech piece of equipment. Which is kind of ironic considering that the airframe that it's attached to, or the motor's attached to, is actually 1 year younger than me. So, 62 years old. Actually, I'd like to bring the Magniex and Harbour Air team up here so you guys can see who's actually responsible for making this happen. These guys had the hard work. I have to I'm not going to name them all off, but these guys are truly amazing. A little inside secret, there was a charging glitch last night, and about, I think 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock when I walked in here, I could tell there was a bit of a nervous vibe going on. People were staring at their laptops and they weren't like laughing and smiling, and I went, uh-oh, doesn't look so good. And they said, yeah, there's a little charging issue going on, but we're going to get it figured out. And I knew they would, so I just went for dinner. When I came back, everybody was laughing and smiling, so it was all good to go. anyways, you guys, thank you so much. Awesome, awesome. First step is the major step. And I'm going to turn you over to Roy here, who he's the one that actually made this happen. Roy, congratulations, buddy.
Wow. Someone asked me outside what it felt like, and I said it was like having a fourth baby. In 1903, aviation made history when the Wright brothers flew for the first time. And we actually started the aviation age. In 1939, when the Henkel jet first flew, we had and started what today is known as the jet age. And since 1939, we've pretty much stayed stable. Today, that team made history. Today, that team, with this flight, December 10, 2019, will be remembered as the day the electric aviation started. We couldn't have done this without the Harbour Air and the Magnius teams working together as one single family pulling it off. So I thank you guys for everything you've done. This was not without problems. You don't do something like this and you don't want something like this without glitches, hiccups, and problems along the way. But that's not the issue. The issue is, what do you do when those happen? And that team over there that you saw pulled it off as you saw the flight today. So first of all, Magnius and Harbour Air, thank you. Greg, Jerry, Randy, the leadership team of Harbour Air that provided a phenomenal vision and the ability to execute this partnership. Thank you guys. Couldn't have been done without you. I just want to give a shout out to Hartzell. Hartzell is a propeller company whose propeller is sitting on the front of that plane. And I'm giving them a special shout out because it's the same company that provided the propeller to the Wright flyer all those 160 years ago. So it's the same company that did the Wright flyer is now propelled the first electric commercial aircraft. So thank you for that. I also want to thank the Claremont Group, which we could have not have done this. The Claremont Group owns Magnix and funds Magnix. And it's phenomenal, and I'm blessed as a CEO, and we're blessed as a company to have an owner, and a company that owns us that has the same long-term, patient vision that we do. In a day and age where venture capitalists and investors look for a quick return, a quick exit, let's do something quickly and move on, Claremont continuously proves their vision and their understanding that it's really about the long game. It's about creating a generational business and the impact that we have on the world. And having this type of aircraft in an electric aviation age that means lower operating costs for airlines like Harbour Air, which in turn will mean lower ticket prices for all of you. Lower operating costs means that they can now fly to more destinations that we couldn't fly to before. And just like Harbour Air does today, from all these small townships connecting the communities, we can do that in the rest of North America and the rest of the world, bringing communities together like they've never been connected before. And we're going to do it with zero emissions. I don't know if you noticed, when that plane taxied out and took off, there were no fumes, no exhaust, no smell, zero emissions. The knowledge that you're at home, making sure the world continues to work when we're going through endless hours, nights, weekends, holidays. Now you see what it was all for. It was all for building something real. So to the families, the husbands, the wives, the kids, the significant others, thank you, because we could not have done this without your support. They say that the U.S.-American Revolution in 1775 started with one shot. It's called a shot that was heard around the world. Today, you witness the first shot of the electric aviation revolution. So thank you for everybody for being here. Thank you for being part of this with us. And let's start the revolution. I think now we're doing a Q&A.
You're in the right seat and you stop on the road and then you just floor the accelerator and people get pinned in their seat. So the motor, electric motor is almost instant torque. And
11 months ago, and now we're flying aircraft. We promised we would fly before the end of the year. And it's flying before the end of the year. How many times the aerospace program's done that? Actually looked up with their units. So yeah, there's competition. I welcome it. I think the idea of electric aviation, getting rid of emissions, lowering operating costs, is one that worldwide community should embrace. And so the more companies get into it, the better. But we'll be there right in front of you. A higher end value will give you the range that you need to drive. Will give you zero emissions. If you want to compare that to internal combustion engines for up to 70s, you can, and it'll be cheap. But it depends on what you want. No, I would say no one's holding the market, right? We happen to be the ones propelling the Beaver. We're also the ones propelling the aviation
around the world that are at the forefront of the whole urban air mobility electrification movement. And just to give you an idea of how far this has gone or is going, it was hosted by Ross Perot Jr. at his ranch to actually make this work. And it's a vision that's shared by so many people around the world, and it's going to happen. I mean, in 10 years, you're going to see such a transformation in transportation that I hope you remember back to this day, and you'll see the realization of it. In regard to the cost, that's the other thing I wanted to address. This motor replaces a Pratt & Whitney P6. Those motors basically have to be, we have called hot sections. They run at about 850 degrees Celsius, so there's a lot of wear and tear on the motor, on the engine. And we, during the period of time that we're kind of estimating the life of this motor, which it's kind of an emotional number, it's going to sort of take 10,000 hours. During that 10,000 hours of the P6 standard engine, we would spend somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 million maintaining and rebuilding. On this motor, we basically don't have anything to do. You can monitor it on the laptop, you can see if anything's starting to get slightly out of spec. Probably won't even have to
fly in and out of airports until now, while they existed as infrastructure, couldn't be used. So if you're flying a 70 passenger or 100 passenger or 110 passenger aircraft, and you need to fill it to make money, you're not going to fly to a small regional airport, or you're going to sub-regional airport. If you're flying a 5 passenger, 9 passenger, 12 passenger aircraft, you can fly to those airports and make money. And that's where that connectivity is doing this constant play. So the range now is not where we love it to be, but it's enough to start the revolution. And as Greg mentioned, every year, depending on whose report you read, lithium-ion batteries improve between 2 to 7%, while and great emissions. Electric motors are clean and lower cost to operate, but yeah, there are plans to work on it.
Focus. This morning I wasn't nervous. I guess the closest thing that I would say that would make me nervous is the fact that our goal is to actually electrify the entire fleet. There's no reason not to. I've been around for a year and a half, 2 years, I can do something, and they go, well, we can look at it if we want, but there's nothing to do for the traveling public. That's not hard.
These are the kids that this is for, right? To make this mainstream, you're looking at 5, 10, 15 years before the world uses this for middle-mile flights. So it's not going to be us.
What's your plan B?
Phase 1 starting again.
data for the job.